Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Old Skits Comic. Working on this concept art today. We're going to continue on with it. But before we do that, let's just take a moment and talk about Skits Comic and backing it. We got the Indiegogo page here up. What we need your mailing addresses. We need you to go out there and get on the mailing list and help support us. And it's really important that people get on the mailing list, and the reason why is it lets us know how much support we're actually going to have before we go live, so that we can tell whether or not we're actually going to get funded. So the mailing list is super expensive, or expensive. It's super important, and we hope that you get on it. Take a moment to see who's in the chat. We actually got some people in the chat immediately. Hey, El Gargoyle. Appreciate you stopping in. Going to get going with this and see what we can actually accomplish today. Here's our piece where we left off last time. We worked primarily in the background last time, and I'm going to start off there. We're going to try and get a little more detail in there, and then we're going to start working on the elephant and the character in the foreground. Maybe what we'll do actually is we'll just get started with the elephant and the character in the foreground here, and then we'll kind of move around to some of the background stuff, give people something kind of interesting to look at. And because everyone likes characters, and we haven't really been doing much with that. So what we'll do here is we'll just sort of zoom in, and let me get my brush. And again, it's just a basic brush, a charcoal brush here. What I like to do is I like to space it out a little bit so I get a little more texture in it. Yeah, that'll be nice, especially since we're going to be working on on some details type stuff. We can get it small, we can get it big. And anyone out there listening, if you have some questions for me, I'll look back about every couple minutes here and see what type of questions you got for me, and I'll go ahead and answer them. Anyway, let's just kind of just roll into this. I'm going to hide my lines, actually. Oh. All right, that way I can actually see what I'm doing here. Looks like I got a little bit of erasing to do around her. Let's kind of get started with some of that. Just kind of clean that up. And again, sorry if my voice is a little bad. Still trying to, I don't have a cold anymore, but I got the lingering effects of the cold, which is basically just, stuffed up throat and nose and all that mess. And I've had it ever since Christmas, like a long time. I got some antibiotics. That took care of it. Hey, Black Star. Hey, Verse Films. Appreciate y'all stopping by. So what we got here is this is basically a warrior. Everyone likes warriors, right? Gotta have our warriors, and everyone likes female warriors. You go back to people like Frank Frazetta and Jeff Jones, some of the stuff that they were doing. Loved it. Jeff Jones is my absolute favorite. If any of y'all don't know about Jeff Jones, go out there and check him out. Jeffrey Jones, Jeff Jones. I actually had the chance to spend a whole day sitting around drawing and painting with him when I was, how old was I? I was probably 20 years old. That was one of the most memorable days of my life, getting that opportunity. But I think we got enough erased here. I don't need to be erasing too much more. We'll just get into it and see what we got. Well, let me clean up this flag right here. Hopefully we don't have any of that snapping and popping on the microphone like we had last time. I think what was happening is I got these ear bobs and I had them dangling, and I think they were hitting the side of the computer monitor. And that's what was giving us all that stuff and everything, all that weird noises from time to time. So I think we'll be all right now. Got a few people watching right now. Appreciate that. And again, I'm just trying to clean up a little bit around this character before I actually start going in here and trying to detail it out a little bit more. Yeah, I think that's going to do for right about now. We're just going to go with that and start going right into it. Excuse me. And first thing we want to do when we're doing this, let's look at where our light is. Our light's coming in from this way, so we always want to be cognizant of where our light's coming from. And the question is it behind her or in front of her? I think we're going to kind of do it a little bit behind her. So around behind those characters a little bit. Like it's not noon, maybe it's about like 4 in the afternoon or something like that on a summer day. Go ahead and doing that. Let me get my brush here. I'll go with just a basic charcoal brush. And I'm going to go into this like I was doing a painting. You know, I'm putting down brush marks, and still we're doing, you know, black and white here. Let's go ahead and kind of start working on her hair and the side of her head, because we already know that there's going to be light right in here. So don't be afraid with it. Just kind of start going in there and making your marks. I think maybe we'll tone that down just a bit. Yeah. I'm going to space out the brush a little bit more here. Hell, not that much. Yeah, there we go. Now we got some texture in there. That hair going. You know, I'm not really too interested in getting crazy detail at this point. What I'm really interested in is just kind of getting my lights and shadows in there. And this hand's going to be up, so there's going to be, you know, have to detail out them fingers. Shouldn't be too much there. And then there's going to be some on top of that right there. Let's go ahead and make it a little lighter. That spear, get a little action in there. The side of her body. Get a little bit back here on this cape. All superheroes need capes, or bad guys, or whatever. You know, capes are cool. You get the wind going. Also, you got her hair flowing here, so we want to kind of get all that in there. And again, this is concept art, so it doesn't have to be perfect like a finished comic book page or anything. But when we actually get into the comic book pages, my technique will be that I do all of my thumbnails in the computer, like what you're seeing here, and then I'll take a projector and project them to my art page, and then I'll do detailed pencils. From the pencils, I'll bring it into the computer and do all my coloring. I'll also be doing inks on the pencils too, but that's mainly just to kind of get the details going and whatnot. I'll be doing it a little different than most people do. I'll be doing it like this concept art where I got my blacks in the foreground and then everything fades to the back. So that's what I'll be doing. Should be a lot of fun. And I'll be streaming a lot of that as well when I'm working on the books, so y'all be able to come and see what I'm working on while I'm working on it. Kind of, yeah, since we're dealing with bigger areas here, just kind of, and maybe what we'll do here in a little bit is maybe on the next one we'll go get some textures and put in here. Textures are always really important, you know, to make something really come alive. That's why I'm using this textured brush here in Photoshop. Put anything there. Yeah, see? And the whole point of this right here is just to kind of go from really, really rough to really, really tight. And what determines how tight you get is actually how long you work on it. You know, we'll get it eventually to a point where I'm satisfied with it and we'll just call it done. And I mean, with these types of paintings, you can go anywhere from 20, 30 minutes to hours, days, you know, just detailing stuff out. Well, let's go check out the chat right quick. Oh, we got a few more people in here. Rare Logic, I appreciate you stopping by. Hey, Drew, aka Mr. E, what's up? Just dropping in to smash that like button. Well, I appreciate that. It's really kind of you. If you can, if you got any questions, go ahead and shoot out a question or two while you're here. If you want to know anything, you can always come back and check out my answers or stick around for it. Now, one thing we got to look at too is I got this foreground stuff, right? This is basically going to be on the right-hand side. It's going to be a big rock face. And when the light's coming in from the left to the right, it's going to hit that, but then you're going to get reflective light from off of this rock face that's going to hit the elephant on the other side. So we got to be cognizant of that. So what I'll do, just kind of get a hint of that going on. I'll get my brush big here, tone it down. It ain't going to be too much, but let's just kind of get a little something in there because we know it's going to, you know, to kind of flesh that out. We're going to be getting that stuff going on in here. Let's see here. Yeah, get some texture in there that we can work with. There we go. A little something there. I think I'm going to switch over back to my regular favorite drawing brush. I only have like a couple brushes that I really like. There we go. Let's tone that down a bit. There we go. Get a few more hints of stuff going on in there. Bring it up a little bit. And remember to stagger your weight, you know, your brush size You know, get big, get small, you know, get all sorts of different little mark making in there. Again, you know, like if this was real brushes and whatnot, it's called scumble, you know, just scumbling along, trying to get some textures, you know, like I did in the background there. That's what we want to do with the elephant. But I'm starting to see um, some of this thing here, and I kind of want to flesh it out a little bit. So I think I'm going to kind of come in here and get a little darker. We can always go lighter later. Let's go ahead and sort of detail some of this out, like her leg coming down. And her foot will be about out here on the side of that elephant. And then we also got the straps. The big saddle that she's on. Let's go ahead and maybe put some of that in there. It's going underneath the belly, so we know where to put some of our lines and whatnot. We'll say like this saddle. And it comes and does something like this. Let's lighten that up a little bit. We don't need it too crazy. Yeah. There she is right there. You can't see the other side because of the perspective. Yeah, that's kind of cool. This area right here. Need to kind of, let's see here. Yeah, there we go. That way we know exactly where the hand is. Let's just kind of tone that back a little bit. And there won't be too much on this. Let me also space that out just a wee bit more so we get a little more play there. There we go. Let's make it a little more dark and detail some of this stuff that's on her. Make the brush a little smaller. Oh, what we got here? Let's see what people have to say. Verse Films helping me out. This looks awesome already. Thanks a lot, Verse Films. Rare Logic, love your style. Hoping for some poster size prints to frame when your campaign goes live. Yeah, we might do something with some of this concept art. Maybe put together a pack of maybe 5 pieces or something like that. I've had actually a lot of people ask me that sort of thing. So, we'll gauge it. We'll talk to some of the other people who's done some campaigns and see what, maybe put out a survey, see what people think, and then we'll go from there. I always like to know it's exactly what people want. It's really hard, I mean, few people like certain things and other people don't, so it's always really tough to kind of gauge what people want. But I mean, I'd like something like that. I think it'd be cool, these pieces right here, blow them up real big. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I think it'd be amazing too. They're Rare Logic. I think it'd be really amazing. Let's just, we'll just see what happens with the campaign. And, before we get to it, again, we'll do some surveys and whatnot. Maybe we can get a little more consistent there. See what people want. Anyway, she's holding the stirrups here. It's coming down. Where's that going? That comes all the way down to here. And you got the elephant here. And again, the comic book will have a little bit of this type of work on every page, but it won't be the entire page. Won't look like this. I kind of like traditional style comic booking at the same time, so we'll be doing a little bit of both. Let me get a little something here. Hint that right there. So that'll be a ton of fun there. Let me see here. And again, this is just a black and white piece. I don't think we're going to do any color on this one. This is just to kind of show people that you don't have to really worry about color when you're doing these things. It's like just try and get your design done. You know, get all the information in there that you want. Again, I go around with the eye picker here to pick my shades and colors and whatnot, you know. I'm just trying to flesh it out roughly. You know, this is the same way you would do a traditional painting. Just kind of rough some stuff in there, see where you end up, and eventually, I don't want no dark up there on the hair. I want it around the face, because her hair is actually white. So, you know, I want to kind of keep that. There we go. Yeah. The one with the arrows too. Yeah, definitely Rare Logic. You know, people really like that arrows one. And, you know, we'll have a few pieces like that, you know, that will, if we end up doing that, will definitely be something. But the main thing is we got to sell the book. You know, we got to get people to get out there and be interested in the book and sell that, because, but all those little things, they definitely add up. You know, our campaign here is going to be real heavy with artwork, you know, because that's, for me, you know, that's the main seller. That's what I'm providing for people, is amazing looking artwork, right? It's like, so that's really what how I gotta sell myself, is with artwork. So we'll definitely have a bunch of artwork there. All right, let's try and detail some of her outfit out here. Try and work them edges. A little lighter here. All right. So what you're seeing here is actually one of the characters in the storyline. She'll be in a few of the books, and you know, she. And I guess you can kind of figure out like the type of character she is based on her outfit eventually. You know, might not be able to with this one, but once I'm also going to be doing some of the concept sketching live, so y'all can actually see how that's done, or we do turnarounds and stuff like that, because I'll need that sort of stuff for the art campaign. Also want to share that stuff out, you know, get people interested in the characters. This is actually a lot of people, because I haven't actually showed too much comic art yet on this, is that it's actually a team book. It's actually a team, and you know, everyone likes team ups, and we got to have our team. So this is actually a team up book. Everyone loves a team up, right? Meaning of life. What we got here? Black Star. Hey everyone, wonderful, peaceful fun. Hey, okay, talking back and forth. Rare Logic getting shout outs in the next video. Thank you. Rare Logic. Meaning of life story. Okay. Got a lot of back and forth going on in the chat right now. Just checking out some of that. Actually starting to get a little warm here in the studio. I shouldn't have put this long sleeve on before I got started, but oh well. That's just the way it is sometimes. So And one thing you don't want to do when you're doing this is get too hung up on whether or not you're going fast enough or whether or not the piece is looking like a finished piece too soon. You know, I mean, it'll get there. You just need to keep plugging away at it, and eventually you'll get something where you're like, oh wow, that's looking really awesome, and da 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 da. So don't worry about it too much. Just kind of get in there and just start working on the little bits, you know, and zoom it back from time to time and look at the whole picture and just see kind of where you're at, and then get back to work, you know. Always make sure you're getting something that you like, but and this is the best part right here. It's actually really therapeutic, you know, just sitting here drawing and going over stuff. And also something new for me is actually talking while I'm doing work. And as most of you know, drawing and painting is very solitary, and you know, it's different, you know, to be sitting here talking to people while you're actually doing it. I mean, there's no one here, that you're all online somewhere, but you know, this is great, you know? So it's just something you got to get used to. You just got to kind of do it, you know. It's what my wife says. You just got to get out there and do it and start doing it, and then eventually you get better at it, I guess. Let's see here, what do we got in the chat here? Just keep seeing things moving over here. I don't think you'll have any problems funding. At least I know I'll be throwing money at you. Thanks a lot, Rare Logic, throwing money at me. That's not a bad thing. It's better than rocks. I'll take that. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Tom's Comic Book and Reviews. Hey, Tom's Comic Books and Reviews. Appreciate you stopping by. Let's see here. I'll post a little something in there. Want y'all to, if you're not on it yet, get on the mailing list. You know, get on out there and get on the mailing list if you can. It helps us out big time, so that we know exactly what we're going to have when we go funding. Speaking of funding, you know, I mean, that we definitely have people who've contacted us saying that they're funding us, and oh man, you know, and we got plenty of people getting on the mailing list here lately. But you know, we need to have a certain amount, because obviously this work is going to take a long time to do. But we should have it done. What we're planning on is to go live with our campaign. Since this is the first campaign, you know, we're going to have it up as long as we can. We'll probably do 2 months, and then we'll put it into demand for until the book is done, which I'm hoping will be about a month. So in total, it'll be about 3 months to work on it. And yeah, so that'll be how that's done. Looking forward to that. So this is like a shoulder pad right here for everyone likes shoulder pads, right? Shoulder pads are cool. No, I do. If I was out there, you know, in battles and stuff like that, I definitely want a shoulder pad. Yeah, let's see if we can get some of this flag going here. Get our, let me make the brush a little bigger here. These flags are usually black, so we might have to kind of reverse the stuff we got going on here, but maybe we can do something with it. Maybe this is a different one. Doesn't have to be black. That's just how I've been doing it. It's funny, people have been like, oh, are those the bad guys? Well, you know, sometimes good guys don't wear white. You know, if you're familiar with that song, it's a good song. Going back for some of y'all, I don't know how old most of y'all are that are listening, but that's a good song. Sometimes good guys don't. I ain't gonna start singing. I mean, I love singing, but I usually sing when no one's around, because if I was to sing when people are around, it'd be like sounding the fire alarm. People be scattering out of this place like Roach Motel or something. Just ain't got the voice for singing. My wife does, though. She's got a good voice. But that's how it is, I guess, when you're an actress. You know, you gotta do song, dance, you gotta do all sorts of stuff. Anyway, this is starting to kind of come along a bit here. I'm starting to like this. You know, we're just kind of getting the details in there a little bit. You know, so that when you zoom out, it's actually starting to look pretty good. Maybe what we'll do on these ones, we'll do a reversal on these flags. Instead of the normal black with red hand, what I'll do is I'll do a red flag with a black hand. That way we'll have a good contrast here with the hand will stand out in front of the flag. So I think that's what we'll do on these. See here. They're good. Oh, not that much. Oh. Yeah, there we go. Just kind of start putting this in here. And of course, it's away from the sun. The sun's actually hitting it from behind, and it'll actually make it look darker than it actually is. So we'll have to play around with that. But I'm just gonna play around with it, and we'll worry about that a little bit later. For right now, I just want to kind of get the overall look in on it. All right. There we go. And then what I'll do is I'll come down here and I'll get some black. Yeah, it's a little thin, a little thin. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam. Well, actually, what we'll do is, yeah, I want to kind of get that flag flapping properly first. Got a few people stopping in, a few more people. Thanks, I appreciate that, guys. Even if you're not in the chat, that's cool. Just watch, learn something. And again, if you have questions, you know, you want to learn how to do a particular technique or something, you know, something that I could tell you or help you out with, just let me know. Yeah, bam, 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 bam. And then it kind of flutters like that with the, yeah, something like that. Okay, so we rough it in there. There you go. That's kind of cool. I like that. There you go. A little bit darker. Nice. Yeah, it's actually looking kind of good right there. Maybe gotta show kind of where the flag is like kind of tied on there. There we go. There we go. Erase out some of that. So we get some of those details. Positive and negative space, that's what it's all about, you know. And work that positive and negative space. Gotta go pick up my minions. Looks absolutely amazing. Can't wait. Thanks, Logic. Appreciate you stopping by. Come back and check it out later. It'll be a little more detailed by the time I come back, and you can kind of see where we're at, you know. There you go. Some of the darks up in here. Yeah, I kind of like what's going on there. Look at that flag. That's looking really good there, that flag. This flag right here is looking real good. Let's go ahead and do the other. That'll really make things look nice. I'm actually gonna take my hoodie off here. It's a little hot. Just don't wanna move around and make too much noise there. All right. There we go. Put that hand in there. All right. Get back over to this. Let's what the heck is that? Oh, sometimes the Wacom kind of gets a little wonky. You know, you'll be sitting here just drawing, and you turn it over to erase, and doesn't recognize it. And it's just one of those things. I don't know. You know, make that look like a nice stick there. And these are just rough pikes or sticks, you know, that they're sitting on. Let's kind of do something like that. There we go. Get a little darker here. Because again, the sun is going to be coming from behind on this stuff, so it's actually going to be fairly dark, you know. Alright, let's do the same thing with this one that we did over here. Let me grab that shade, make sure that, yeah, there we go. Let's go ahead and kind of put some of that in there. Get some of that going on. Erase some of that back. Get that line. Get that flag flapping in the wind. You know, there's always, when you're working on pieces, there's little things you can do to kind of sell the scene. You know, one of the things I'm doing here is, you know, I got the woman's hair, I got the flags flapping in the wind. You know, I got a bunch of things that kind of tell what's going on, you know, that there's a little bit of wind whipping. And, you know, maybe what we'll do is we'll throw some dust sweeping by, and some leaves or something like that. That'll help sell the scene as well. You know, it's like we're coming down all these mountains. There's not too many trees, but it's actually lush and green here, in the foreground on the valley floor. So we got to kind of sell that. Where it's if you don't have a lot of trees, you know, you're going to have some wind blowing around. Let's try and put the hand in here. Let's see what we can get going on. So, see. There we go. Kind of be back there, and we'll do a little something with that there. And what we'll do is we'll lighten up the hand and stuff in front of it, kind of get that separation, you know. Should be okay here. But I definitely want to kind of separate it. Maybe go in there and do a little detail on this hand. It's gripping. Probably gonna, yeah, it's going to have to be a little smaller, a little darker. I'm gonna have a thumb there. Then you'll have the fingers coming over. Right. A little bit there. It doesn't have to be perfect right now. Like I said, it's, you know, we're just kind of blocking everything in. There we go. Make sure that pops out there. That spear pops out. That'll be good. Yeah, so we've reached about 42 minutes here. Doing pretty good. You know, this ain't too bad. Ain't too bad. Go a little bit longer and keep detailing some of this. Let's zoom out a little bit. All right, that's starting to look like something. Always zoom out, zoom in. You know, do a little. Wanna flip your canvas. Kind of look at it, see if it's reading okay. Yeah, it's looking fine. It's looking good. All right. Image. All right. Looking pretty good. And maybe what we'll do is we need to get some textures going on in here a little bit. Let's go find some texture brushes. Well, these texture brushes are actually something you can get with Photoshop here. They, yeah, that one's not too bad, but maybe, no, definitely not. I don't like to splatter too much. It'll probably work, but I'm kind of, yeah, there we go. That's something that I'm looking for. Let's see here. Yeah. There we go. Let's sort of get some textures in here. It's kind of running along here because, as we know, elephants have a lot of texture to their skin. So let's just do a little bit of this and get some little texture action in here. And probably something that would help me out is if I actually went and looked at what an elephant looks like. I didn't look at any pictures with this one, so yeah, probably good to do that. All right, let's go back to my regular brush. So yeah, we'll do that at some point when I want to really detail out this thing, if we even get to that point. You know, again, this is just concept art. You know, there's the, you know, just sort of do it where it's following the contours of the elephant. You know, I can kind of see this in my mind. You know, all the wrinkles and stuff like that. You know, Got a lot of wrinkles on them. Like a big old leather wrinkly thing. Thanks there, Black Star, always hanging with us. Appreciate that. Also, you know, I don't expect too many people to be around on these feeds, being middle of the day. Maybe we get some people from some other countries in different time zones. That'd be neat. Let me kind of carve out, kind of define these legs here. Because, you know, I mean, what is it? It's 12 o'clock. Most people are at work. That's what I am. I'm at work right now. I'm working with y'all. That's what I'm doing. Trying to sell this book, trying to sell my product. So I appreciate y'all stopping by, seeing me and my sales pitch. Get on the mailing list, guys. So when this book drops, you'll know exactly when and where, and you'll be able to get all the free goodies from the goodie room. Welcome to the goodie room. Yeah. Yeah, basically when you're doing contour type stuff like something with these elephants, the thing you need to do is just kind of follow the contours of the elephant, you know? I mean, if you think about how its leg looks and stuff like that, you know, you just follow the lines, you know, follow the contours. It's really a cheap trick, but it actually works, you know? It's just a cheap trick in drawing. I think I might got this leg a little too big, so I think I might just kind of, there we go. Looks like I got it a little too big. There we go. Yeah, that's looking a little better there. There we go. Yeah, that's a lot better. That elephant's just sort of, whenever you're drawing, one of the most important things to do is to look at the contour of a figure. You know, it helps you to find out where all your lines are, puts it in a more of a 3D space. You know, it sells the image a lot more, you know, knowing exactly where all the lines go. You know, the only way you get better at drawing is to draw. That's all there is to it. And remember one thing, the computer can't make you a better artist. All it is a tool. You got to learn the fundamentals. You got to learn how to draw. And that's just that, you know. The only way to get better is to do, and to do often, do daily. You know, most people are like, oh, you're so talented. Yeah, it's not talent, it's hard work. To get good at anything is hard work. So just remember that. You want to get good at something, you got to work hard. All right, there we go. It's actually starting to look like something, isn't it? Yeah, look at that. That's getting there. We might, before we go too far on this elephant, we might actually just, might have to go get some reference and see what an elephant looks like before we get going too far with it. You know, I'm just doing this out of my head as to what I think an elephant might look like. But at some point, you got to go, maybe it's time to go get some reference and see what an elephant actually looks like. You know, that would probably help. So we'll go do that at some point here. Don't want to F your momentum. No, I'm gonna keep going on this. I'll pull some elephant reference before the next drawing session, and we'll make sure that we got that before we even get going so we can look at it. Maybe what we'll do is we'll pull some textures from a elephant too and get them in there to kind of get some texture going on the elephant. That's always good to do. Now remember, we got a little, yeah, that's kind of neat. We do have some reflective light coming from the other side here, so we can't forget about that, you know. There you go. Let's kind of zoom out and look at some of that. Yeah. When you're doing these things, what you want to do is you want to think big to small, you know. Think big, then go small. Make sure your big bits are in there before you actually start going in and doing the little details. That's basically what I did when I first started this. It's just kind of, you know, let's try and get everything in there and see where we're at. Let's try and get some of these lines in here. Yeah, right on the rim there. I kind of know what an elephant looks like for the most part, but there's always little details where you're like, oh, how did I miss that? You know, it's like always little things that you go, man, how in the heck did I miss that? How did I forget about that? And it's because you're just not used to seeing it all the time. You know, one of the things that I thought when I was learning how to draw, when I was younger, I thought every artist, they learned how to draw all from their mind. Like they had everything in their heads, and that's how they drew. And then I learned later on that hardly no one does that. You know, everyone draws from reference material of some sort. And that was a big change for me because I had been going years. I mean, I was well into college before I realized that most people just use reference material. But the good thing about that is you know, I spent a decade learning how to draw all from my mind. So when I did take a lot of little shortcuts and stuff, you know, the reference material to to do their drawings, I was like, wow, you mean that? You know, that was like eye opener, and it made me actually a lot better. So I was like, okay, well then I'll do it that way. You know, done everything from my head for so long that it was amazing. You know, and then I also wrote there that myself that you know better use reference materials. I mean, geez, you know, do whatever you need to get the job done. That's the way I see it. You know, I learned that in commercial art. You know, you just sort of do whatever you can to get the job done. That's the important thing. The important thing is getting the job done. Don't don't just think that everything needs to be perfect. Sometimes things just need to be done. You know, it's very, very important. Sometimes you just need to get things done for a client. Oh, a bit much there. Yeah, so just kind of moving along here. Carve some of that out there. So, yeah. go. Let's go look at the, oh, not too many people in the chat right now. If you are watching and you're not chatting, because we've got a few people watching, it's not chatting. But if you're listening and you really feel like you got a question you need to ask, don't be afraid, man. I'll answer any question. Yeah, there. That elephant's starting to look pretty good, if I do say so myself. All right. Let's go back up in here. I feel like we need to do a little more work up in here. Just kind of putting a few dabs in there for. One thing that's interesting with bodybuilding, especially with women, is, you know, there's two different body types. There's the kind that just kind of do the bodybuilding and they get in pretty good shape, you know. Then there's the kind that you know, go all out on it. And I don't know much about the bodybuilding world, but the little bit I do know is there's a lot of steroid use, you know, and they get really big like that. And it's cool, you know, we get to see what bodies look like when they're like overly like muscled and stuff like that. It's really amazing to see that sort of stuff. But our character here, she's not like that. She is kind of normal, but at the same time, you know, she relies on other things, not muscles, to get the job done. But she does enjoy a good butt whooping, you know. So that's what she's doing. She's out there. She's like, man, I need to whoop some tail here. You know, get a spear, make something happen. Probably has a gun or something like that, you know. Muscles don't do much against guns, you know. That's just the way it is. Even Bruce Lee said that in Enter the Dragon. Like, why don't you just someone get a gun and bang, end it? Mr. Han. All right. Well, that is looking interesting. I think what we'll do next is we'll focus on the foreground and try and put that in there with a little more detail. And then we'll start working on the entire thing and see where we get. But this is looking pretty cool. You know, I'm pretty happy with this. Obviously, the stuff in the foreground here hasn't been detailed at all. Maybe what we'll do is we'll do that next. But I think we'll call it a day. It's been an hour. And we'll continue on this next time. So remember to go out there and get on the mailing list for Skits. Go check it out. Really appreciate it if you sign up. It's really important that you get on the mailing list. And remember, we won't spam you. We'll only tell you if we got something to sell or if we got something free to give you, or maybe one of our movies. If you haven't checked out our movies, go check out our movies. The movies are fantastic. Verse Films has been helping us with those. They've done a great job. We really appreciate them. So get on over there and check those things out. Anyway, y'all have a good day. Thanks for dropping by, everyone, and we'll see you next time on Skits Live. Do a little more concept art. Y'all have a good day now.